Hello. As we discuss today's topic of workplace culture, we cannot forget the people who build our projects, and that's labor. Today, we are happy to have the leader of the New York labor force, Mr. Gary LaBarber, president of the Building and Construction Trades Council of Greater New York and president of New York State Building and Construction Trades Council. Gary LaBarber has served since 2009 as president of the BCTC, an organization comprising local affiliates of 15 national and international unions representing 100,000 workers in the New York City area. In 2021, Mr. LaBarber was elected president of the New York State BCTC, which also comprises of 15 building trades councils, 12 district council and states associations, 135 unions, and represents over 200,000 tradespeople across the entire state of New York. Since assuming his position as president of the New York City Building Trades, Mr. LaBarber has also embarked on ambitious negotiations for project labor agreements, and these efforts have resulted in excess of over $100 billion in public and private sector project labor agreements for the city of New York. In addition, under Mr. LaBarber's leadership, the building trades have become a model of inclusivity, which means the majority of New York City's union construction workers are now minority men and women. Mr. LaBarber continues to work to expand these opportunities to every corner of the city, launching the Apprentice Readiness Collective to enhance and to accept union apprenticeship programs in historically marginalized communities and forging alliances with community groups throughout the city. So in addition to all the work that Mr. LaBarber has done, he has been an avid supporter of Turner Construction as we have worked over the past year to increase our efforts to support our workers and to create the right environment. With that, I welcome Mr. Gary LaBarber.
Thank you very much, Marjorie, and thank you very much for including me in Construction Inclusion Week. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend the actual panel, so I appreciate the opportunity to give a recorded comments. So first, let me say this. Over the last decade, in particular, the New York City and New York State Building and Construction Trades Councils have focused on increasing diversity, inclusion, and equity within our ranks. And we have been very, very successful. As you noted in your introduction, today, an overwhelming majority of active members in the Building and Construction Trades Councils are minorities. And we believe it's important that the demographics, in particular of the New York City Building Trades Council, represents the demographics of our great city, New York. So how have we done this? Well, you had mentioned the Apprentice Readiness Collective. We have 4 direct entry programs, and these are pre-apprentice programs that we have used widely to focus on underserved communities. And most recently, last year, we entered into a project labor agreement with the City of New York, which will total, at its completion of all project labor agreements, approximately $40 billion worth of construction activity. And what we did in that agreement was historic in nature. We have included in the project labor agreement a focus on underserved communities, which means communities that 15% or more of their population are under the federal poverty line. And a stark reality is that if you look at a map of all 5 boroughs regarding poverty line, you will see that over 50% of all communities fall in that category. So we think it's important to lift people out of poverty and into a middle-class career in construction. And the only true place to find a middle-class career in construction is through a union apprentice program. So as I mentioned, we have 4 pre-apprentice and direct entry programs. One is the Edward J. Malloy Initiative for Construction Skills, which has been in existence for 20 years. We celebrated our 20th anniversary just this year. The other program that we would mention would be the Non-Traditional Employment for Women, which has been a program that has been around for several decades. It's a program focused solely on bringing women into the trades. Then we have our New York Helmets to Hard Hats, which serves returning veterans, and we've been very successful with placing hundreds of veterans into careers in the unionized construction industry. And then finally, but certainly not last, is P2A, Pathways to Apprentice. And this program focuses primarily on formerly justice-involved individuals. Now, these 4 programs collectively have brought almost 10,000 people over the last several decades out of poverty and into good union apprentice programs and into good union careers in the construction industry. Now, focusing on underserved communities is in a very important aspect, because what we know is a reality is oftentimes, the majority of times, underserved communities represent a very large Black and brown population. So we feel it's important to focus on those communities and bring candidates from those communities into the building trades. We last year formed the first of its kind in the nation, as I mentioned earlier, the Apprentice Readiness Collective. And that is a collective of all 4 pre-apprentice and direct entry programs who coordinate and share, number one, best practices in terms of recruitment, but also coordinate on behalf of candidates to see what is available, what is the best path for them into the building trades. Now, for example, you may have a female who is interested in coming in through construction skills, but with this coordination and collaboration, the opportunity may present itself sooner through non-traditional employment for women. So this collective really works together to enable ready access to these individuals who seek a career in the unionized construction industry. So that is the fundamental tenets of how we recruit in terms of increasing diversity. But let me speak about increasing diversity and the importance of diversity and the importance of inclusion and equity. We know that all too often poverty is the main driver in terms of crime, in terms of incarceration, in terms of a sense of being hopeless or helpless, and leads to substance abuse, etc. And it becomes a vicious cycle. The only way out is a career. And in the unionized construction industry, and with partners like Turner Construction and many others, we have a path for these individuals to lift them out of poverty and into a middle-class career. Now, let me say that while we're doing this, we're also expanding our diversity. And diversity is very important to the building trades leadership today. And the reason is we believe all people deserve equal opportunity in the workplace. All people deserve respect and dignity in the workplace. And by including people of color, Black and brown and Asian and females, we develop a synergy on a work site. We develop an atmosphere on a work site that is reflective of New York City. Now, let me say that unfortunately, from time to time, we have unfortunate bias incidents. And I have to tell you that on behalf of the New York City Building and Construction Trades Council, we have absolutely no tolerance for this. Everyone is created equal, and everyone is expected to be treated equally on a job site. What most important to us is that our members go to work, they give a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. As you know, they are the most highly trained and the most highly skilled anywhere in the nation. And at the end of the day, they return home safe to their families. But during the course of their day, it is important that they are treated with respect and dignity. Turner Construction, on a number of their projects, has really taken this initiative to another level. In particular, I'd like to mention 66 Hudson Boulevard. There was a focus there on respect of the workers. And in return, what's expected is respect of the contractors, respect of the construction manager, and to create an environment which is not only a healthy environment, but a productive environment. And that is what the value add of union construction is. So for us, it's critically important to continue in our efforts to move forward, bringing more and more diverse people into the trades, allowing them to have opportunity into a career, not just a job. And again, I emphasize the importance of a strong union construction career because it lifts people out of poverty. It brings them into the middle class. And this industry has done that time and time again. And so as we continue our efforts to expand diversity, to expand inclusion, and to ensure equity, we need good partners in this industry. As I said, there are many good partners. I'd like to comment that Turner Construction has taken this very seriously, and we have worked very closely with Turner Construction on many, many projects to focus on, again, respect and dignity, safety in the workplace, and to increase diversity and inclusion. So once again, I'm sorry that I couldn't be in attendance at the panel, but I did welcome the opportunity to share some of my thoughts and emphasize the importance and the continued effort by the New York City and the New York State Building and Construction Trades Council to increase diversity, inclusion, and equity. Thank you all very much and have a great day.